Welcome to the Buddhism Guide podcast. I'm Rabge, and this episode is called Breaking Free from Greed, Hatred, and Unawareness. This podcast is free and independent due to member support, and thank you to everyone who supports the show. If you're interested in supporting my work, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Buddhism Guide. And if you'd like to see more of my content, then please visit my website, yeshirabge.com. In this episode, we'll be talking about the Buddhist concept of 3 poisons. So let's get started. Buddhism teaches that our suffering and dissatisfaction often stem from 3 fundamental qualities known as the 3 poisons. These are greed, hatred, and unawareness. By understanding and addressing these poisons, we can work towards a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Greed, or desire, is the endless craving for more. It can show up as wanting more possessions, relationships, or even experiences. The problem with greed is that it keeps us stuck in a loop of always wanting. No matter how much we get, it never feels like enough, and that leaves us feeling dissatisfied. So, for example, think about someone who's always chasing after likes on social media. They could get hundreds of likes, but they're still hungry for more. This chase can leave them feeling inadequate and even lonely. And it's not just about social media. Greed creeps into so many parts of our lives. Imagine someone who's focused on climbing the career ladder, that they neglect their personal life and health. Their drive for success might have them working long hours, neglecting family and friends. Even as they rise in their job, they might still feel unfulfilled because new targets just replace the old ones, making it an endless race for achievement. This constant need for more creates a void that can never really be filled, leaving them in a state of discontentment. Greed can also show up in how we chase experiences. In a world that often celebrates being busy and adventurous, the pressure to constantly seek out new thrills can feel overwhelming. This can lead people to always be on the go, planning the next trip or adventure, without taking a moment to just breathe. The irony is that while they're busy chasing these experiences, they might miss out on enjoying the simple things right in front of them, leaving them feeling restless and unsatisfied. On a bigger level, greed contributes to environmental damage and social inequality. The relentless chase for wealth and more possessions fuels unsustainable practices, leading to the exploitation of our natural resources and harming the planet. Wanting more products, more comfort, more luxury, just drives industries that often put profit over caring for the environment. This not only drains the Earth's resources, but also widens the gap between the rich and the poor, as those pursuing these desires can easily overlook the needs of others. The antidote to greed is learning to appreciate what we already have. By practicing gratitude, we can shift our focus from what we lack to the good things in our lives, which helps us enjoy the present moment. Mindful consumption is key here. Making conscious choices about what we need versus what we simply want can help us break free from the never-ending desire for more. Plus, building relationships based on respect and genuine connection rather than possessiveness leads to interactions that are more fulfilling and harmonious. By adopting these habits, we can slowly change our relationship with desire and find balance and peace in the world that often pushes us to want more. When we recognize and deal with greed, we're paving the way for a happier, more fulfilling life. Hatred, or simply feeling really negative towards people, situations, or even ourselves, can be pretty toxic. It leads to a cycle of anger and resentment that doesn't just hurt others, but messes with our own peace of mind too. For example, think about someone who can't let go of a grudge against a friend over a past disagreement. That lingering bitterness can cloud their interactions and even push them into isolation because they'd get stuck in a negative mindset. Hatred isn't just directed outward, it can also occur on the inside. Self-hatred can be really damaging, leading to feelings of unworthiness and self-loathing. Take someone who's constantly beating themselves up over past mistakes. They might struggle to forgive themselves, which just keeps the cycle of self-punishment going and holds back personal growth. This kind of internalized hatred can seriously affect well-being, causing stress, anxiety, and even depression. Hatred can also show up on a larger scale in society, creating prejudice, racism, and nationalism. These collective negative feelings can result in diversive and harmful behaviors, which pull communities apart and lead to conflict. The effects of such hatred are widespread, creating environments filled with fear and mistrust. To fight hatred, it's crucial to cultivate compassion. One way to do that is through loving-kindness meditation. Just sit quietly and think of someone you care about, silently wishing them happiness, health, and a peaceful mind. Over time, expand these good feelings to others, including those you find challenging. This practice can help melt away negative feelings and foster connection. Besides meditation, there are other ways to nurture compassion. Simple acts of kindness, no matter how small, can build positive connections and lessen feelings of hatred. Whether it's volunteering, helping a neighbor, or just giving a smile to a stranger, these little gestures foster empathy and remind us of our shared humanity. Also, learning about different cultures, perspectives, and experiences can really help us see past our unfamiliarity, which often fuels hatred. By expanding our views, we can challenge our biases and prejudices, leading to friendlier interactions with people around us. Forgiveness is another great way to tackle hatred. Letting go of grudges and resentments can lift the weight of anger off our shoulders and open up opportunities for healing and moving forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean we excuse harmful actions, but it does help us break free from the grip of negative emotions that weigh us down. If we make these practices part of our everyday lives, we can slowly turn hatred into compassion, which brings us inner peace and better relationships. It's a journey that takes time and commitment, but the benefits of having a compassionate heart are huge, helping to create a world where understanding and kindness shines. The third poison is unawareness, which is seen as a major cause of suffering. It's not just about lacking knowledge. It's about misunderstanding the true nature of reality. This confusion can lead to actions that keep suffering and dissatisfaction going. For example, someone might think that real happiness comes only from things like wealth or fame. This wrong idea can drive them to make choices that don't bring real joy into their life in the long run. Unawareness can show up in many ways, like holding on to false beliefs, prejudice, or assumptions that we've never really thought about critically. It often comes from being disconnected from our true selves, where we ignore or push down our real feelings, desires, and values. For instance, someone might choose a career based on what society expects instead of what they're passionate about, ending up feeling empty and dissatisfied, even if they look successful on the outside. Not being aware also means not getting concepts like impermanence and cause and effect. Impermanence is recognizing that everything is always changing. When we don't understand this, we cling to temporary moments and things, leading to disappointment and suffering when they inevitably change or go away. Similarly, not understanding cause and effect, or karma, can lead us to act in ways that cause more suffering instead of well-being. Without this awareness, we might act on impulse, not realizing how our actions affect ourselves and others around us. Unawareness shows up in how we interact with others too. When we don't understand or empathize with the experiences and perspectives of people who are different from us, our actions can unintentionally hurt or dismiss them. This lack of insight can create divisions and conflicts, both in our personal lives and in society as a whole. To overcome unawareness is all about seeking wisdom and understanding. A simple way to do this is by engaging in mindful learning. Set aside some time each week to read books or articles on topics that challenge what you currently believe or help you see the world in a different light. Have conversations with people who have different viewpoints. This will give you a richer perspective on life and help fill any gaps in your knowledge. To tackle the 3 poisons effectively, try to weave these practices into your daily life. Start your morning with a few minutes of meditation. Set an intention by thinking about what you want to achieve that day. Consider how you might run into moments of greed, hatred, or unawareness, and how you can handle them. Take a moment throughout the day to check in with yourself. Check your thought process and your feelings. Are you wanting something you don't really need? Do you have any negative thoughts towards someone? Recognize those feelings without being too hard on yourself. Before you go to bed, take some time to look back on the day. What moments made you aware of greed, hatred, or unawareness? How did you deal with those situations? Jot down your thoughts in a journal to keep track of your growth and insights. Understanding and dealing with these 3 poisons can lead to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. By practicing gratitude, building compassion, and seeking knowledge, we can gradually lessen these poisons in our life. Buddhism teaches that the journey to freedom from suffering is about getting rid of these poisons. We do this by recognizing them when they arise and learning to respond to them in a better way. Remember, as you incorporate these practices into life, progress will take time, and being kind to yourself is essential. With a little patience and consistency, you can create a life filled with clarity, compassion, and contentment. So that's it for this episode. I hope you found it of some benefit. And don't forget to check out my website, yeshirabge.com, or follow me on Instagram at yeshi_rabge. So, until the next time, Thank you for listening, and bye for now.